By now, you've already probably heard the news. Netflix is currently making a big spectacle of the fact that they're looking to acquire Warner Bros. Discovery, but while everyone on the internet seems to be more concerned about the next Harry Potter reboot or the future of HBO, they seem to be forgetting that Warner Bros. Also has a very big presence when it comes to video games. Like, Warner Bros. Isn't just a movie studio. They've had a long storied history when it comes to gaming, and with their studios already on life support after a very brutal 2025, this acquisition could either be a lifeline that saves our favorite franchises, or be the final nail in the coffin. So let's talk about the Netflix deal and what this actually means for gamers. Now, before we dive into the Netflix deal, let's go ahead and look at WB's track record in this last couple of years. So let's be real, WB has been bleeding quite a bit with our last couple of titles. We're talking about the absolute disaster that was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and of course the shutdown of multiverses, which I believe, yeah, that was this year. But the real pain also came this year when Warner Bros. Had announced that they were going to be shutting down 3 of their studios, one being Monolith Soft, who has had a long cherished history with them creating the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War series, and they were also going to be working on the Wonder Woman game, which of course was also scrapped. And even with other games that actually launched and got some level of fanfare, such as Gotham Knights, and of course Mortal Kombat 1, which, as a big fan of the Mortal Kombat series, that one kind of disappointed me a little bit too. Those games didn't quite hit the sales metrics that were expected of them, which technically ends up putting them as kind of failures as well. And in hindsight, that restructuring that they did with shutting down those 3 studios looked less like a strategic move and more like a panic sale, with them trying to trim themselves out so that way they could make themselves a little bit more appetizing for a potential buyer. And turns out that buyer ended up being Netflix. And when Netflix stepped into the picture, they've primarily been talking about the movies, TV shows, and streaming that are going to be acquiring with this potential acquisition. However, they have not mentioned, not once, about the gaming side, like at all. However, even with that, I still have some level of hope that Netflix won't just toss the gaming division off to the wayside. And why, you might ask? Because Netflix has been showing increasing interest in the game division, and they've made it very clear that they want a piece of that pie. Hell, look at some of the things they've done recently. Netflix Games was actually able to have competent ports for Red Dead Redemption and even WWE 2K25 on their platform. And sure, they have a ton of slop on Netflix games based on some of their reality TV shows and other franchises, because at the end of the day, the main target for this is mobile gaming, but at the very least, they seem to have some level of understanding when it comes to making use of premium IPs. And while some of their IPs aren't as long-lived as others, now that there's a chance of them owning WB, that means they'll own the Mortal Kombat series. That means they're going to own the Batman Arkham, Hogwarts Legacy, a whole bunch of other established content that can help build out their portfolio. Now, while it may seem like I'm spinning this in a very positive light, let me just go ahead and clarify that I am also painfully aware of the potential shitstorm that this could actually create. Because right now, with Netflix games, it is basically a walled-off garden. You need the Netflix app, you need a subscription, and most of the games that they currently have are all mobile focused, versus a lot of the IPs that they're going to be acquiring, these are going to be focused more on console and PC audience. So unless they end up pivoting their strategy, are we going to end up seeing the next Batman game appear behind a Netflix subscription and be locked to just mobile? I genuinely hope not. Then of course, we can't forget about Netflix's greed. After all, Netflix has been aggressively increasing the price of their subscription year after year. And not only that, they also gatekeep basic features, at least in my opinion, I call these basic features, behind higher tiered subscriptions, such as 4K and HDR. If you want those, you have to pay $20+ to get Netflix's premium tier, which is absolutely insane. So based on that, if they acquire WB, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they end up pulling an Xbox on us with their acquisition of Activision Blizzard, by basically telling us that absolutely nothing's gonna change, and then later on end up pulling the rug out from under us, with Netflix potentially going one of 2 ways, either creating a new gaming subscription similar to how we have Game Pass, where all the games will now require a separate subscription in order for you to play them, or if they keep following the current style that they have where everything is based on your current Netflix subscription, best believe them prices are going to be going up once again. But of course, none of this is currently set in stone, as Netflix still has a very long road to jump through with all the legal proceedings that will definitely take at the very least a couple of months to complete. But while all that's happening, it seems like Netflix now has another competitor who is not willing to take this acquisition lying down. Paramount stepped in and decided to put in a hostile counter-offer to basically undermine what Netflix is trying to do. And to be quite honest, I definitely do not want Paramount getting their hands on the WB, because as far as I'm concerned, Paramount has zero interest when it comes to game development. Like, absolutely zero. So if they win the bid, I have a very strong feeling that they're basically going to look at the game division as nothing more than extra weight that they will be looking to cut off very soon. Which, in the worst case scenario, they probably just kill all the studios completely. That means we're losing Rocksteady and NetherRealm studios. Like, that will hurt. And then maybe the potential best case scenario, again, this is, worst timeline where Paramount actually gets it, they end up selling the studios off piece by piece, which could suck, but could also potentially save them, depending in the long run where they end up at. So if you weren't pleased about Netflix potentially acquiring WB Games, best believe that Paramount would be the worst case scenario. But overall, this is a genuinely stressful situation for anyone who grew up with WB Games, having to watch some of our cherished games like Mortal Kombat, Arkham series, and I guess at this point, whatever the hell it is Rocksteady is still working on, basically hang in the balance. But personally, if a sale is inevitable, I'm hoping that Netflix does end up getting the deal, and I hope that they have a genuine strategy to basically grow the gaming sector for WB, or at the very least, I would like to say I hope a different competitor comes along, one who actually cares about gaming, as long as it's not fucking Embracer Group. Please, Jesus, let it not be Embracer Group. Because at the end of the day, all I want is to, 1, see these games not die out, And two, for the devs, they still need a livelihood. If these studios shut down, there's gonna be a very, very big blow to the job market, which is already pretty shit right now for game devs. But for now, we're just gonna have to see how things play out. So, what do you guys think? Is Netflix gonna be the savior that WB game needs, or do you think it's gonna go south and the next Mortal Kombat game is about to turn into a mobile exclusive cloud game with subscriptions needed? Sound off with your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you like what we do here when it comes to covering video game news and reviews, consider subscribing and turn on that notification bell so you never miss when a new video drops. Alright, y'all, that is it for me. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will catch you all later. Peace.